Greetings from Somerville. I am your host, Michael Somerville, and today we're going to talk about booze, alcohol, cocktails, beverages of the grown-up kind. I live in New York City. I've my whole life from the Northeast. I was born in Jersey and then came to New York right after college and lived in the city sometimes and sometimes in sublets, and then sometimes ran home to my parents and crashed because I ran out of money when I was first out of college. But I've spent my whole adult life post-college in New York City, which is a wonderful, amazing city. It is large, it is loud, it is not always clean, as people say, but it's an amazing place. But I love it, but I also love getting to leave it. I love that I travel for my job and I get to get out of town because sometimes it gets to be a lot. The apartments are small. It's not a cheap place to live. And because we're always crammed into small apartments, there's a saying that the city is your living room or your family room. In other words, you don't stay in your apartment. When you're meeting somebody, you go out. When you're being social, you rarely have people over to your apartment because they'd have to stand in the shower. You go to meet them, and oftentimes that happens at a bar. So the bars of New York City have become, it sounds terrible, but in a way a second home to me, especially because I'm a comedian. So every single night I'm in or around a bar because they're part of comedy clubs, and that's what nightlife is. And so I've spent a large amount of my professional career, let's put it that way, that sounds a little better, I think, in bars, and as a result gotten to know an awful lot of people, both bartenders and patrons. And one of the things I love about New York is it's just such a large city that any given night you can have a good time if you want to in New York City. And in a lot of places I've been in the world, you go out on a Friday or Saturday night to meet people or have fun, and maybe Thursday things ramp up a little. But in New York, any given night you can find a bar, a party, a thing, something going on. People who are out celebrating, people who have just got married, people who just got divorced, people who are celebrating a big business deal, and I've met all types of people in New York bars. Just, I think, sheer population, you just wind up meeting a number of interesting people, including I've met billionaires and models. I met the guy who I once sat next to, the guy who bought the cemetery plot next to Lee Harvey Oswald's cemetery plot. An absolute true story. The bartender confirmed it. I later looked it up. He bought it under the name Nick Beef, which is not his real name, but the point is, it's an amazing city, and my one friend used to say, you're never safe. When he's walking home at night, he knew at any given time a friend could text him or call him, or something could happen where he'd wind up out when he didn't plan to be. He was just going to go straight home from work, and he said, I never really felt safe until I'm in my bed. Then I know I'm home for the night. And he said, and even then, if I don't turn off the phone, there's a chance I might be going out. So anyway, that's New York. But I wanted to tell you a quick story about one of the coolest experience I had in a New York bar when I was first living there in my 20s. They have something called a lock-in, which some people may know is when the bar closes, unbeknownst to me, sometimes the cooler patrons, the friends of the bartender, people who are sort of on the inner circle, can stay in the bar. After it's legally closed, they'll lock the front door, and the bartender will let you stay and have some more drinks. Well, I'd never knew what this was. I'd never heard of it before, but I'm at a bar on Restaurant Row, is West 44th Street, called O'Flaherty's, and it's not there anymore. It was a great big old bar that's closed. But some friends and I used to go in. There's some comedy clubs in the area. We'd go in once in a while before or after a show, get something to eat, have a beer, whatever, just hang. And we were always really cool, relaxed guys. In New York, especially in Midtown, you can get some real knuckleheads coming in and out of the bars, and it's kind of a transient section, not a lot of locals there. But I think the bartender liked us because we were always cool and tipped well, and we could see that he was having a problem with the customer, or some customers weren't being so friendly or whatever, and we would kind of commiserate with him. So anyway, this particular night I finished my shows, and again, I must be probably 25 years old, so I'm up, and the bars don't close till 4 o'clock, and I'm just hanging out, and then there's some nice women there. We're chatting. The bartender is chatting with us, and sure enough, it's time to close the bars. 3:30, 3:45 in the morning. the bar's about to close, and he tells me to sit tight. And I wasn't even sure what that meant. And he said, no, go ahead, just, relax, sit, just stay. And I said, okay. And I didn't know if I was, I didn't think I did anything wrong. And I thought, okay, well, this is kind of cool. Well, sure enough, they kick everybody out, and then a handful of customers get to stay. There might have been 15 or 20 of these customers that got to just sit, and they locked the door, and they closed the windows, the whole thing, and then they just started pouring us all a beer. And I was like, this is unbelievable. It's 4:05 in the morning. The bar's closed. What's happening? And that's when I learned what a lock-in was. It was the bartender considered you cool enough and part of his gang that you could hang out and drink while they cleaned up or did whatever. Well, I can't tell you how awesome I felt. I just thought I was the king of the world. I mean, this is New York City. I'm in a bar after hours. I'm living the life. Well, as you probably know, I love my sleep. So by 4:15 or 4:20, my eyes were starting to close. I went from feeling awesome at 4:05 to halfway through a beer and ready for bed at 4:20 in the morning. I did not know that you cannot leave a lock-in whenever you want. It's not like you could just leave the bar and open the door because of legally. They have to make sure there's no cops and no one's seeing you or come in and out of a bar. So you can't leave until they leave. So I kind of mentioned, hey, all right, well, that was fun. And the bartender says, no, you're not going anywhere. You wait till we open the door. I said, well, when does that happen? And the first one wasn't going to happen until around 5 or 5:15. And so I'm sitting there trying to be cool and look, oh, yeah, no problem. I was just asking, I was going to go out and smoke, I don't smoke. So there I was just for an hour, the longest hour of my life in this bar, trying to prop my head up, trying to keep my eyes open. And I think they knew, they could see that I was just falling asleep on them. When I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. I love going out. I love having a great time. But boy, man, when it's time for me to be done, I need to be able to just, that's why I think that's why they call it the Irish exit, right? The Irishman who just disappears. That's it. We go to the bitter end, but when we're done, we're done. And all of a sudden I couldn't be done. I had to sit there in this bar for an hour. And I just did anything I could. I think I would have ordered coffee if I didn't think it was going to get me beat up. But finally, 5:15 came around, and the first wave of workers were ready to leave, some guys to the kitchen, and I kind of pulled the old, you know what, I might as well go with them, And I think the bartender knew. He's like, yeah, go ahead. I'm like, no, I got an early morning, so I'll just take off on this round, right? And I never got invited back to a lock-in again. Thank goodness. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, this is exciting. We are with New York City bartender Christian Marriner.
The original.
The original. That is such a great, by the way, New York, just bartender name. I mean, that is, have you gotten compliments on your name before?
I do. I get it often. Yeah. I tell them my mom did a good job.
You right? She made you, and she named you perfectly. So I invited you. I know you well from New York City. That sounds terrible. From New York City bars, it would be a bad way for me to put it. But I've frequented more than once in my lifetime. I've been in a bar in New York.
Yes, this is true.
And you happen to have worked at some of my favorite places.
True.
Yes.
Also true.
Yes.
Starting at Standings.
Standings. Yes.
Standings.
A sports bar. For people who don't know out there, one of the, I would say, very few sports bar, like a true sports bar in New York City.
Yeah, true. Like, if you can picture your weird uncle's basement that is he was never allowed to have a spot where he could put everything, and the wife was like, no, we're putting cats here, we're putting all this stuff here, you can have the basement. That is Standings, where he gets to decorate. We got Shea Stadium seats.
Actual seats.
Yeah. The legit seats. We have paraphernalia from everywhere. I actually have my football jersey hanging up.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Like a high school football jersey?
Football jersey hanging
That's
up
awesome. You have your moment.
Oh, yeah. I have my one moment of fame. And then I also have... we have had people come in and go... this is my cross-country college shirt from 3 years ago, or when, I left it here 3 years ago.
Right.
Can I have it back? And we're like, no.
No.
It's there.
It's now, yeah. It's up in the ceiling.
It's up in the ceiling. It's been there. There's dust on it. It is now ours. Legally, it's legally dead, so it's ours.
Right. Squatters' rights, right? At some point.
So it's paying rent.
Now, to paint the picture for listeners, it is truly, your description is the best. Here's your little corner in the basement, because it's whelming. It's packed with memorabilia, shirts. As I've now learned, regular people shirts, not just NFL players, but your high school jersey.
Oh yeah.
Which, by the way, I love because I've grown up in Jersey. There's a little bar by us, and when I turned 21, my friends and I, you stumble down to your bar. Hey, we got finally allowed to go to this place, and they had some old photos of actors and performers on the wall, framed. But it was one of these rundown bars you clearly hadn't paid attention. So we went and got one of my photos, put it in a frame, and put Stickum on the back. And one night went in drinking and just found a corner and slammed me up there against the wall. And it was there for 2 or 3 weeks. We kept going and checking on it. And then eventually someone must have... It was a much newer frame than all the other ones. So I think it the cleaning crew comes once a month. And
I'm like, what is this? Why is...
I signed it to them everywhere. 2 Bartons, best wishes.
And they're like, this is too nice. This is actually too good of a headshot.
Exactly.
And he's actually
it's in
kind
color.
of known. He's kind of known, so we gotta get rid of this. We need more no names.
It was a color headshot, which did me in. But I love that you put your jersey up there. That's hysterical.
Definitely.
Is there a ceremony or anything when you do that?
Just me crying alone, pint of ice cream, and a lot of beer. That's mainly
quoting your old high school stats.
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, played offensive line and didn't do anything at all, so it was great.
That's weird. You were an offensive lineman?
Yeah.
No way.
O-line and D-line.
Nice.
Yeah.
That must have been, how was your program?
That was mainly a lot of concussions.
Okay.
Yeah. When you stick a small guy at 185 or 175 on the offensive line against 300-pound guys,
yeah.
I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, but they did.
Okay.
But also, Standings is only like so the one thing is like sports bar. Like, we're the number one, we've been rated number one sports bar for years.
In New York?
In New York City.
Okay, yeah.
We beat out, the
Blondie's
Yankees.
Is the only one I know.
Blondie's is the other one. Yeah, we've beaten them. And we've beaten out some Yankee bars. We've beaten out those guys.
Wow.
And it's been a Boston bar because we had one bitter Boston bartender whose name was Mike. And people would come in, and we have 12 taps, all microbrew except for Bud Light and Guinness.
Right.
Just for the people who come in and want to drink all day and just keep going.
Right. You can't drink microbrews all day?
They're a little bit higher in alcohol. Not all of us. Okay. Some people have a talent.
I'm just saying I've heard of it.
It's a skill. It's a skill. I don't know. But we have this guy, Mike, who is just so bitter at the world. Boston. That's
right.
Just angry all the time, and he would just be like, "It's a beer, not a life choice."
Okay.
Which we loved. It was just like, it's a beer, it's not a life choice. Just it's $6. Come on.
Right.
Now it's $7.
Now it's
everything's going up.
Right.
But we.
Oh, I thought the longer they took to order it went up.
Yeah.
Now it's $8.
That's how we make money.
Yeah.
It's really only $5. We're just pocketing everything as a tip. And everything in the bar, which is cool about this bar, is it's a chalkboard.
Okay.
All the sports standings are updated every day with the chalkboard. The owner does it. He does that every day, and he does every time a beer kicks. It's him getting up there, making fun of us for our handwriting being so terrible.
I love it.
And he handwrites it in.
I love it. Okay.
So, those stats are done every morning. Only him. He used to be an accountant.
Right.
And he left that job.
Okay.
Like when I first started.
But he loves the bookkeeping. It sounds like it's in his blood.
He loves the bookkeeping. When we first met, I was covering for him.
Oh, wow.
He needed somebody to step in because he couldn't work weekends. And he was working so much at the accounting firm that he was at.
Gotcha.
He needed some help. So, and I was actually an operations coordinator at a consulting firm that he was a part of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's how I got into the bar. That was my first bartending gig.
No way. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, now you're saying, and there's a flavor to it. Not only a sports bar, but there. I always thought of it as a Boston and New York Mets bar.
Yeah.
Right. Which is unique to have. Well, I guess a lot of cities I've since learned do have a bar that's dedicated to another place. And they're popular.
We're definitely dedicated to whoever's bringing in people.
That's
so
probably how it works.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. We're very dedicated.
We love you.
We used to have a lot of Cal fans from California, the Cal Bears, for game days on Saturdays.
Sure.
They were awesome.
I love it.
We would have all this Cal paraphernalia that people brought in. We'd also have some Florida Gators. and the common question is, are you guys a Florida bar? Are you guys a... It's like, yes, you bring people in. You bring it in. Yes, we are. We will be that bar for you.
Yes, you make it.
I am your friend. And how much are you tipping?
Exactly.
Yeah, I am your friend for hire.
A badminton bar, if that's what you want to bring in.
Yeah, bring it in. Oh, man. I think NHL, we had one day. We had one day that was going to be the best day at the bar. And the owner and I are just sitting there. We have one credit card machine that's like from 1988 where it's like a dial-up. It is a dial-up.
Nice.
It literally, if a phone call comes through, we can't make a transaction. So it's still to this day, it's still stuck in the 80s.
I love it. And no one can go on the internet.
Oh, no. People ask for Wi-Fi. We just laugh. We're like, there's a Starbucks 2 blocks away next to another Starbucks.
Yes. Order a beer and watch the game.
Yeah, come on. What are you doing? But we do have the packages. We just go through that, and we had maybe 50 credit cards, and we're like, we have so many people, the sales are going to be huge, this is going great for us, everything's awesome. Having direct TV, if you hit any kind of storm, rain, clouds, blows out all the TVs.
Jeez.
Lost everything.
Are you
The one time the bar, and I just watch, and we close out everyone's tabs, and I just watch the owner, Gary, just go.
Oh my God.
I saw his soul die.
Yeah. That's...
And I just saw every credit, I'm just closing out these credit cards going, there went money. There went money.
Thousands of dollars that day. Most people, everyone's soul will die eventually, but not many people can point to the moment where it actually...
I literally could watch someone's soul just shriver and go.
Yeah.
It's like,
the day we lost him.
Yeah. Ever since then, it's just more. He just sits there in the corner and drinks and recalls that day. Oh yeah, constantly. That's the day he brings back.
Is that the day has a name and everything?
That's the name. It's just the day. Oh, remember the NHL day.
Yes, we remember that day.
I remember when my soul died. But since then, I've jumped from bar to bar to bar.
I was going to say, practically next door is another bar that I've always enjoyed. The Burp Castle is the name, where you also have slung your suds, if I may. Is that something? Is that...
I do have... So in the bar at Burp Castle, so the bathrooms at Standings and Burp Castle are very unique.
Okay.
Standings has, in the men's bathroom, sports updates, articles everywhere, and they're updated every week.
I love it. Run by an accountant.
Right? And then Burp Castle has graffiti, almost...
Really?
But it's like philosopher type. So Burp Castle, we should talk about Burp Castle.
Let's set up Burp Castle, because it's in contrast to Standings. It's actually a bar where you are the general law rule is to not talk loudly. You're supposed to keep your voice down. Am I getting that right?
You're 100% right.
Okay, so which as a stand-up comedian I love, because I am used to loud noises, everywhere, crowds and everything, which are wonderful. I'm not complaining, but when you go for a beer or something, it's love to just be quiet and chill. So the first time I discovered that place, I was in heaven. I was like, "You're not allowed to talk loud? This is great." So go ahead. And as a result, I would just add, it seems to get, if you're saying there's philosophy on the walls in the bathroom, it seems to make sense, because you get people who are maybe a little more educated or don't need to shout at a TV.
A smidge.
Okay. Okay.
We're getting, so we have Cooper Union right next to us, which is, at a time, Cooper Union, I guess college or university, I'm not sure.
It's a school.
It's a school.
Union. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it's that college. So that school used to have so much money thrown in it from its alumni that each student that went there had a full ride.
Oh my goodness.
That just started 5 years ago, where people had to pay half tuition.
What, is it a specialized school? Is it
specialized school in engineering, math, very smart kids.
Yeah.
So those types come into that bar and kind of sit there and just have their moments. But the bar started in 1994. I only know this because we have a patron who came in has been coming in since 1994.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
His name is Nurse Dave. We call him Nurse Dave.
Okay. Does he like that, or did you give him the name, or?
It wasn't me who gave him the name. I knew him as Dave, or
like,
David. I forget how many which ways.
He's like, I'm a computer programmer. Why do they keep calling me Nurse Dave?
Yeah. It's like, I actually just sling pizza.
Yeah.
And I'm a nurse? It's like, no.
Yeah, that's your new name.
Yeah, no, he works at Best Buy. Great guy. No, he was the night shift nurse, like a security nurse in a way.
Okay.
At St. Vincent's Hospital, which has now passed and become a beautiful haunted apartment complex.
Yes. Is it haunted?
Oh, it's totally haunted.
Is that really
Are you
true?
kidding me? That hospital was haunted. I've spent a night in that hospital.
I have too,
once.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got stories.
Yes, that's a different episode.
Yeah, that is a very different episode. That is like where people go to die. And that place definitely has had stories about things moving and
really.
All,
oh,
so
wow.
now there's apartments, and they still had to keep some of the structure because it's historic. So imagine living in a historic. You're like, oh, look at these beautiful new high rises.
Yeah.
And oh, look, the doors open by themselves. It must be new. No, that's just the ghosts.
Everything's automated.
Yeah. That's actually not.
Whoa.
So he works there.
Nurse Dave.
Nurse Dave worked there for years. He gave me all the back history. It was a Ukrainian guy who got the building in a dowry. He opened up Brewski's, which was before Standings.
Okay.
Which was like a biker bar, grungy, like everyone there was Ukrainian.
Okay, you're talking back. We're back on the bars now.
We're back on the bars.
Okay.
So we're back at Standings and Burp Castle. Ukrainian guy owns the building. Gets the building, has Brewski's, which is now Standings,
right,
and then Burke Castle. Back in '94, no one under the age of 25 could come in. No loud talking, louder than a whisper.
Wow,
louder than a whisper. And it was a bartender, a bar back, also like a dishwasher, bartender, and 2 Ukrainian bouncers at the front. In monk robes. Everyone was in a monk robe.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we got rid of the monk robes once Gary took over.
Okay.
Thank God, because I wore it once and it hadn't been cleaned since 1994, and this was 2009. So
I would come for that. You in a monk robe.
Yeah. No, it was hot and it was miserable.
Is it up in the ceiling now?
I think it's further up. It's like it made its way to heaven. And so it used to have a hole in the ground. People always come in and be like, oh, there was a dumbwaiter. There was never a dumbwaiter. It was Vasile, who's the guy who opens the bars and closes the bars.
Okay.
63 or 1,000-year-old man. No one knows his age.
Right.
But this Ukrainian man who comes and opens the bars and closes them. And he used to be the guy who handed beer bottles through a hole in the wall.
Through a hole in the wall.
This is before Department of Health really had establishment in the East Village. So there was a hole in the wall where he would go from the cellar and hand the beers through.
Oh, wow.
Total crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. This is like, I mean, it doesn't seem like, you're like 90s.
I was going to say, that's not that long ago. That sounds like some 1930s prohibition stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Hiding the booze in the basement. Wow.
Yeah. So hiding the booze in the basement, doing all that stuff. Used to have celebrities. Used to have a line down the street because it was 25 and under, 25 and over. Okay. And no loud talking. Celebrities used to come there.
Really?
Hard close at midnight. Opened at 5. Hard close at midnight. Nobody there. And then when I got there, it was like, all right, this is the theme. We have these beautiful murals painted on the wall of monks that make no sense. There's like monks partying with Robin Hood and the Little Men.
That's right.
It doesn't make any sense. And then you get towards the bathroom with all the graffiti but it's all like philosophical graffiti where it's like, where were you when you were thinking of here? What?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like, and then it's all like political stuff.
Goodwill Hunting, like math problems on the wall.
Yeah, there is. It's like, figure out this problem and then call me. The best one was no one could tame this dragon warrior princess, and then it had a phone number.
Oh.
And then I found out it was these two regulars who would come in on Mondays and Wednesdays. One was a teacher, one was a fashion designer.
Right.
And they would just write their friends' phone numbers in the
That's
bathroom and write these
hysterical.
crazy stories.
That is really funny.
And I would get people coming into the bar going, can I borrow your Sharpie to take my phone number out of your bathroom? It's like, sure.
Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah, that sounds like something. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we do that here.
We
Yeah.
do that.
Yes.
I'll be welcoming to that.
Yeah, you can't have your college track shirt back, but you can
You're not
next
getting your
door.
college track shirt, but no. And then we also have people like Burp Castle is such an interesting place where it's only a bartender. There's no one else.
Yeah.
Right? So I leave to change a keg. Someone's pouring themselves a beer. Sometimes that does happen.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Are there cameras?
No.
No.
There's nothing. Ghetto.
The monks are watching on the walls.
Yeah, the monks, the little peepies, and the cherubs that we have as well, holding up the brew Jesus. It's very interesting. And then we also have late night. So say around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 a.m. We normally don't stay open past 2.
Okay.
We get the people who are done performing at Lincoln Center, or the people who finish performing on Broadway.
Sure, that's cool.
And they come in with their violins or guitars, or the bassist from Blue Man Group would always come in.
Yeah, okay.
The drummer, those guys would
very
always
cool.
come. Really nice guys.
Yeah.
The coolest time was when we had these 2 violinists come in.
Right.
And they played for us.
Wow.
It's like, I just got done playing at the Lion King. I normally play somewhere else, but I was doing a friend a favor, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this.
Wow.
So yeah,
They have to keep it down.
yeah.
You
I was
can
like,
play,
guys,
but
you can play in between a 5 and a 6.
now, speaking of funny things that you do, coincidentally, what a segue.
Oh yeah.
You did some of the funniest things. You have dates, early dates, or whatever it may be. Because I'll go on your Twitter or your social media, and sure enough, you'll be giving updates on. And one of the reasons it strikes me, not only is funny, and I'll let you describe it, but this is now several years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and social media has evolved obviously so quickly, and back in this, I had a first date, and I decided to live tweet the date without telling her. And it wasn't, video, wasn't anything. I was just giving updates online of like, here, I'm meeting her, I'm nervous, I'm wearing this, and then blah, blah, blah. And then like she'd come and I would just, I'd just go to the bathroom and wash my hands. And I'd try to be without her knowing, or even just say, sorry, a little work thing. And it's back in the time. I feel social media's gotten a little snarky now. It wasn't mean spirited at all. It was the genuine update of this date and how I felt. And I talk about relationships a lot in my act. I used to do the glamour column, the dating column. So I think people would. Well, I later found out that night that there were like women, my fans and friends around the country, literally like opening wine, making popcorn, and just sitting down waiting for these updates. And I had no idea. By the time I got home that night, the cavalcade of the old avalanche of people, what happened next? It's been an hour and a half, we haven't heard. And it was such a, again, I don't think you can even do that these days, because even in that 5 years since that we've gotten so broadcasty about everyone's live video streaming, it wasn't happening then. So anyway, that is a long-winded way of me saying I think there was such a purity and funness about your updates, and go ahead and tell everyone what you do. But I just think it's fun. It's fun.
Well, most of these dates were about yours. No.
Yeah, it's me sitting there failing. He got stood up again tonight.
I guess just looking at Burp Castle a few years ago, because of media and whatnot, became known as a great date spot by OkCupid.
Oh, okay.
And this is before Tinder. This is before all the fun stuff. So when OkCupid happened, they landmarked Burp Castle as a great first date.
Boom, there you go.
And I'm sitting there on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night bartending, and we're open from 5 to midnight, and I'm just sitting there going, man, there's a lot of guys coming in or girls coming in by themselves, and then their friends are waiting for them.
Meeting somewhere.
I'm like, what is going? Oh, these are dates. These are first-time dates, because you see, I'm like, well, they look like friends or associates at work.
Yeah.
And then I realize, this is embarrassing. And so I started just like writing them down. Or I get the people who come in and I just watch the guy ask me while the girl's going to the bathroom, like, "Hey, how am I doing?" I'm like, "Oh, you're terrible."
Are you honest?
Oh yeah. I'm honest. I'm just like, I don't think it's gonna go. I don't know.
And I imagine as a bartender, you've seen everything, and it must be so easy. I know sometimes when I'm on the other side, if I'll be a reader for auditions instead of the actor, you watch and you go, "Oh my God, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that right." But it's so easy when you're on the outside. Is it similar then as a bartender to watch a dude and be like, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing, man?" I mean, has it improved your own game?
Oh no, no! I still make the same mistakes. I become that guy. I even say it. I'm like, I just became that guy.
I am Nurse Jackie.
I came in and was Nurse Dave. Two Bud Lights, please. I literally just go in and I go, "Oh, what's your favorite beer?" Oh, I hate that question as a bartender. What's your favorite drink to make?
Right.
What's your favorite thing to do? That's where I realized I have the power to do everything, but it's a power exchange.
That's interesting. So you don't want someone asking you what you like?
No.
Yet at
I
the
want
same
them
time,
to tell me.
you like telling them what they want.
Right. Well, I learned that I have to tell them what they want.
Okay.
I've learned that over time after bartending since 7, 8 years. You discover that people want to be told what they want.
Right.
I've worked at a fine dining restaurant.
Right.
Everyone would come in and be like, "Oh, what's the best thing here?"
Right.
Okay, you want me to tell you.
You want me to tell, yeah.
You want me to tell you what you want.
Yeah.
So and then that's where you realize people want to be told, but people in the service industry, just like people in accounting, all these big jobs in an office where they have to make decisions that are very important.
Yeah.
It's nice when someone actually is decisive.
Someone, yeah.
Right?
I
you
bet.
enjoy that decisive person.
Yeah.
And in the restaurant service industry, we love somebody who knows what they want. They
Okay.
come in and go, "I want a lager," or "This is the type of thing I want. Can you deliver?"
I was gonna ask because I usually like a lighter beer with some flavor though, not like a mellow. Is that an okay thing to say to a bartender?
Yeah.
Say, "Hey, do you have anything in that category?"
Yeah, if he has something light
Brooklyn
that's like this, or
Pilsner-y
Pilsner.
yeah.
So
All right.
Pilsner lager, I love that.
Okay.
But you come in and you go, "What do you like?"
What do you like?
I go, "I like it when you leave a $10 tip on $3.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes I would think that maybe it's because they like you, and what I'm getting at is perhaps women. One of the themes of being a bartender, really anywhere, is that there is you are attractive to sometimes to the opposite sex. I imagine there are women who have liked you. As we've mentioned, you're a handsome guy. You're a cordial, friendly, social, intelligent guy. And boom, we have a lot of attractive women in this city. I'm assuming that you once or twice have been chatted up by a customer.
I am socially special in those departments.
I think that's why we get along so well.
Yeah, I really, I have no idea. It doesn't happen until after that person leaves, and my friends who are sitting at the bar going, "Man, that girl really liked you." I'm like, "No, she was just really nice.
She's really friendly.
She's just really nice."
Yeah.
No girl that pretty would want to talk to me like that. That just doesn't exist.
It doesn't happen.
Growing up being a small lineman, I was just like, yeah, that's what I think.
I think that's going to be the name of your autobiography.
Yeah,
Small lineman.
I was Rudy. I was pretty much Rudy.
Rudy.
Yeah, but not as cool and didn't stop that touchdown at the end or whatever.
I didn't make the sack.
I did make the sack. I actually got trampled on. I got the concussion though, so it was great.
Yeah, you're the guy that didn't make the movie about.
Yeah. Oh, I'm everyone else. And having I have had girls. What was more common was at the Penrose, a place on the Upper East Side. Very fancy cocktail.
Upscale, yeah.
Upscale, but still affordable, very bro-y. You got your college bros coming in. "Oh, I got all my friends. I make $60K. My parents still pay for my rent. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out." And so as a bartender at places like that are upscale, and you have women coming in and kind of who have money, who are very empowered, and it's great, and they're strong, and then they come on to you as the bartender, you're like,
hello.
You're like turned on for a second, and then you're like, okay, you're gonna beat me up when we get home.
Right. Yeah,
This is the next thing is like I'm like strapped to a wall, and there's a paddle. There's like a wall of paddles of different shapes and sizes. I'm just like, this is where I die.
This is where it's over.
Yeah. And I've had those moments where I'm like, I walked this girl to her apartment, and I was like, good night. And she's like, aren't you coming in? I'm like, oh, I don't think that's right.
Really?
And I walked away.
A customer, someone you served.
It was a customer I served.
Yeah.
And then they did it again. And I was like, I was lonely. I was vulnerable. I was like, you know what? I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll come up for a drink.
Okay.
Got up there for the drink, not knowing other people have language of like, oh, I'm coming up for a drink and I'm staying.
Right.
In my mind, I'm like, I'm coming for a drink and leaving.
That's what I said. Those are the words.
Yeah.
Drink and leaving.
Drink. Yeah, drink and check out your place and
Yeah.
wish I had an apartment like this and then leave.
And then go.
And go to, 2 boroughs over.
Wait for my hour and a half subway ride.
Yeah. And I get there and I go, oh my gosh, this girl is... Oh, I'm going to go change. Takes off all of her clothes.
Oh.
Into just like a t-shirt.
Oh.
That shows everything. And I go, oh, that's very relaxed. Like, I didn't know what to say. I was just like, oh, that's... all right.
Yes.
And I become the 16-year-old who just had his first kiss and is ready to sprint out the door.
It just doesn't know.
Yeah, I did not. Like, that was my first experience of just like, I don't know how to handle this.
Don't know what to do.
Other guys I know.
Well, time out.
Yeah.
How did you handle it? You don't have to tell us.
No. It just,
Okay.
it got more awkward and just knowing someone...
Did you put on a short shirt yourself? Or?
I wish I had a tank top, a crop top, where I was just like, well, this is what I look like in a short shirt.
It's a different look for men.
And she's like, no, I got turned off, and I got afraid, and I got scared, and all these thoughts just went through my head of like, oh, this is a customer.
Yeah, I have that all the time as a comedian too. The off chance you meet someone, it's like, I went to a show, it was professional, I paid to be at this club, and then the guy who I paid to see, it just, I don't know if I'm very old school in that professional thinking, versus, but yeah, I know what you mean. That's a customer.
That's why I use Craigslist for all my one-night
So now you just have a reputation for he's a great bartender because he'll serve you a drink and walk you home.
Yeah.
It's just a line of women that walks you home at night. It's great.
I had the best one was a French girl who like stalked me. She was visiting for 2 weeks and she was gorgeous and I was just like, I can't.
Right.
And she's like, please come over. And I'm just like, the typical like Audrey Hepburn kind of like breakfast at Tiffanys kind of look, but with a French accent.
Good
and
Lord.
Just like,
yeah.
I would love to reenact this movie with you multiple times, but I can't. This is work. This is dangerous, and also, you're not an American. You're not a freedom fighter.
You're not. USA only.
These colors don't run.
Well, the only thing a bartender has ever done for me, he gave me a burrito if I promised to leave. So you're a much better, more cordial.
Oh my God.
Now, do you have any regret? Do you look back? Because I know in my life, I look back at every opportunity that I didn't even know was an opportunity to maybe hook up with a girl or something, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize. And then I have the amazing ability to go back sometimes like 7-8 years on Facebook and think it's still like an option. Like try to like read.
We always have that. You're just like, I remember in junior high, she really was into me.
Exactly.
And we're 40 now.
I missed the sign.
Do this. Yeah.
But
she's had kids and now she's divorced. I think I got a chance.
I think this is it. Yeah.
Maybe she would want to. You know what? Actually, I definitely did something like that not too long ago.
Did you?
Oh, it was a year ago. To my current girlfriend, it was a year ago.
Okay. In case she's listening.
Yeah, in case she's listening. Hopefully not.
I don't think anyone listens to this.
Good. Yeah. Well, your dad's going to find this great.
Your dad's going to love it.
And, my parents will find it great too. Mom, I made it.
I
made it. Where'd you make it? On Spotify. Maybe, hopefully, maybe iTunes.
131 followers.
Yeah, we're crushing it. I had this one girl where it was in elementary school, and I was like, I always had a crush on her. Found her on Facebook. She was single and full on flew out to California thinking it would be like a thing. And then met her at a bar, had a couple of drinks, and went, oh, this is not a thing.
This is not a thing.
This is
you literally went with that in the whole hey, here we go.
Yeah, I was excited for it, thinking I still got it.
Wow.
And I get there, she was interested, but I wasn't interested.
So she was still game on.
She was still game on.
And you...
But I was like, oh, this is not... My mind changed. My mind like flipped on it. Where I was like, I'm still not that... I'm not that kid. This was more of like the fantasy.
Right.
We live in that fantasy of like, oh, what if?
Right.
And then it happens and you're like, ah, shit.
Right.
That if really just sucks.
You had packed your short shirt and everything.
Yeah,
for the
I got my
trip.
crop top. I was ready to go. I had my little Lyman jersey. I even had a helmet. I was ready for her to just be like...
Well, man, I gotta say, there is a reason that I love chatting with you, and I think just this is why. Because you're just one of the nicest, most fun people. You have an amazing job here in the city, and we thank you for it. All the people who you keep hydrated and happy, and occasionally send home with a burrito.
Often.
That was
yes. I feel like I might have been that bartender.
You may have been. Yeah. But you did it with a smile.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. You can come back tomorrow.
You can come back. Yeah. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine, right. Just right now.
Just not you sleeping here at the bar. This is not happening. No.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to Greetings from Somerville. Please subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, and listen to all 3 of my stand-up comedy albums for free on Spotify, Pandora, and SiriusXM. I'm Michael Somerville. Have a great day.
Greetings from Somerville.